Alright guys, another good pool day in the books. So again, anything slightly different about this one was one, a component of what's the least amount of exercises I can do to have a good complete back workout, and then also started including RDLs again. So I'm going to kind of figure out the best way that I want these in my split, whether I want them earlier, I want them later. This one I did it towards the end of the workout. And then also just a component of, figuring out my recovery, working on my form with them and all that good stuff. So this is the first back workout I've had in a while that really had some good spine loading. As always, going through my warm-up and my activations and my prep. Sorry, I'm breathing hard. I just watched Cops. Just kidding, I actually just got done training. So again, obviously doing some scapular circles, and again, starting with the idea of just making that circle as big as possible. So again, you guys have seen these a billion times, but obviously components of retraction, depression, protraction, elevation, and all various combinations of that, just trying to make that circle as big as I can. And as you'll see, let that spine move. So again, I think you can further retract your scapula when your when your spine is extended. And I think you can further protract it when your spine is rounded, particularly in this place we're talking about the thoracic spine, the part of your spine that attaches to your ribs. Again, internal, external rotation, so just want to show a little bit of a different position here as far as my upper arm goes. So again, I think that avoiding that high elbow position will be a more comfortable position to do this internal, external rotation type thing at. And you'll see I'm doing this in various positions of upper arm, flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, whatever. So then from there, big ass circles, that is the technical name for them. I don't want to get too fancy for y'all. But big ass circles, and again, a lot of motion at the GH joint here, so a lot of motion where the upper arm bone, the humerus, sits in the side of your scapula, but also letting everything move. So again, kind of did the scapula in isolation, did the GH joint in isolation with the rotation component, and then this kind of puts this all together. And as always, on any of these, if you have spots where you just feel like you don't have good control, spend more time there. Do some holds there. If you have spots that hurt, avoid them. Do not train in positions that are painful. And then here, just this component of whatever the hell you want to call this one. And again, just my great favorite one to tie it all in, which again has components of spinal flexion and extension, scapular protraction, retraction, little components of elevation and depression in there as well too, and GH joint internal external rotation. And this last one here is just kind of me. This is the feeling of getting my lats fully shortened, so I'm trying to get my elbows to touch right at the base of my hips. So there's components of kind of this wrap around thing, upper arm smashed into the side, so tricep smashed into the lat, and a component of depression as well too. And then just the last ones before I go on, I wanted to show you right into my first warm-up sets here how I go. So again, I think the band makes sense to grab a hold of, just to kind of go through the pull-up-y type motion. So again, letting that, lat, try and feel it doing most of the work is my main focus here. So again, as I go up, I let that band obviously pull my entire upper arm up, which results in a little bit of scapular elevation as well too. Contracting that lat hard will pull on the humerus, which again will pull it in degrees of shoulder extension and scapular depression as well too. Again, not because the lat necessarily is pulling on the scapula, although it might be, but mainly because it's pulling through the humerus. And then right into my first set of pull-ups. So ring pull-ups are my main meat and potatoes today. 2 working sets, so just going through the motion, again, non-fatiguing, so tossing that band on, and again, really trying to rehearse it exactly how I want to feel. For me, a little bit of thoracic extension feels great, and then just trying to keep the spine still from there. And again, you'll see I'm trying to just feel my lat and trying to feel that upper arm pulling down. And I make an adjustment to my top set. You'll see I take the rings just a teeny bit wider, and I think that lines up just a little bit better. For again keeping my lat doing the majority of the work, although I certainly don't mind anything else doing some work. So this is my top set here today. And again, just trying to keep that upper arm in line with the strap pretty well. Every time I watch these videos back, I feel like I can keep my elbow tucked in a little bit tighter. But overall, when I'm in the set, I'm just really trying to feel about that lat initiating that contraction and driving hard down into my side, and kind of just where it goes, it goes. And again, the profile of these isn't great. So again, I think that's part of obviously why I kind of put it into other positions from time to time. So again, 2 top sets, didn't show the second top set, and then extended 1 more set after this. But as always, feel free to add a little bit more volume. I was trying to keep the volume pretty low today. So again, 2 working sets. The first one was with a 25 and some change. And then I think the next one I just had a 10 around my waist. And then obviously this one was just body weight. And then again, straight into just an easy way to extend the set. So obviously first is going body weight, then deloading it. And again, bands aren't the best profile here, but some of it's just to take weight off. And again, as long as there's tension, it's still taking weight off through the entire range. So again, extending the set with whatever I've got with that band. And again, the main focus here is just really try and find and feel that lat, especially when I'm going through the eccentric, is when I can just really try and make sure I'm going at a pace where I can feel that lat stretching, keeping tension on. And then from that stretchy type feel from the lat, just try and contract hard from there and make sure that it's initiating and coming from that position. And then from there, just extending it. You can hold on to the band however you want. It's kind of like that wrap around feel. Just feels pretty good. And kneeling. And again, just focusing on trying to keep this really, really light, because basically, depending on the band you've got, this was pretty damn light. So just really just trying to accumulate some pretty good contractions pretty quick. And again, they just felt great. So again, this is very easy for me to keep my upper arm right and plane. Half of it's because the load is so light. But again, just really accumulating some good hard contractions of the lat. And that's a nice thing. I don't really cue pace a whole lot. But if you feel something, and you can feel it the whole time, generally that warrants being able to go at a little bit quicker, a little bit more of a, like kind of a faster pace, especially on the contractions. So really simple, easy way to accumulate a lot of reps on the lats there, between body weight to band spotted, and then obviously to band pull down just from that point. Then from here, just, gosh, one of my new favorites, which is going to be staying in the program no matter what, of just the body weight ring rows, and obviously you can put some weight in your hips there. So again, pretty straightforward here. Big thing is it gets more upper back focus, so I'm just really trying to keep my chest nice and tall and spine still. So again, I think a little bit of an extended spine here feels great. More than enough of a good position to get some protraction when you're in the bottom. And then again, the extended spine helps me feel like I can really retract my shoulder blades. Whatever position feels best for you as far as the spine goes, the big thing is to keep it still. And again, I just visualize my spine and my ribs staying still. I mean, stupid analogy, but like a pole or like a tree. And just imagine everything moving and wrapping around it, particularly the shoulder blades, protracting and back. And that's my basic big visualization, is my back opening up and my back pulling together and closing. And so again, same thing here. Did I think 3 sets total. So you'll see how I did this. I did this one top set, and then I didn't show my back off set with a little bit of a lighter weight. So I think I had a 50 for my top one, and then I think I went to a 30 for my back off. And then yeah, this is my third. I actually did 3 back offs because I wanted to do one that just added in some rowing. So again, feel free to add in whatever amount of volume you want. But again, between these, technically I consider this 2 exercises for back. Obviously I'm adding in a third here. At this point in time as well too. But again, this is for me a nice complete one for upper back development, because obviously if you look at the plane those straps are in and where they're pulling, this definitely biases a little bit more kind of lower upper back, if that makes sense. So again, particularly if I'm looking at traps, it's not as much upper trap. Dominance a little bit more mid and lower trap, and definitely integrates some lats as well too. Again, they're always working. Lats are always working pretty much any row. And then again, I wanted to add in a little bit more something that biases kind of upper traps, mid and upper traps. So went right to a barbell row. And so again, just trying to find a relatively neutral spine, hinge at the hips, and then trying to do my best to keep my spine relatively still in space, but really just keeping the main focus on my shoulder blades. And I always have that visual of back open and close. And I think this is a great place. If you've looked at people with great backs, I just try to visualize the way their back works and their back moves, and just try and replicate that kind of obviously in my mind, because I can't see my back. And again, so just visualizing how much can I get those shoulder blades moving around my rib cage. And then from there, finished with some RDL. So just one top set here. Honestly, I need to spend a little bit more time cleaning up my form. This is what made me debate, do I want them before or after the session? To start or finish the session. I always need more upper back than I need erectors. But again, I think because I was a little fatigued, I just got a little sloppy with form. And again, I'm not saying these looked horrible or something, but they just didn't quite feel perfect. I need to spend a little bit more time working on them in the future. And again, I let that bar, basically when I say got out of position on this last one, I let that bar get away from mid-foot. And that's really where I was starting that rep, just a little out of position, and didn't feel fantastic where I ended up being at. And then from there went right on to BFR. So I'm not going to voice over this whole thing. I just recorded it for anybody who wants to see it, because I did it. And again, this is my little protocol that I like for BFR. I just do different hand positions because, again, getting a little bit of different contraction from bicep and forearm type stuff, brachialis, brachioradialis, and all that. So again, I did 10 pronated, 10 supinated, 10 neutral. So I'm still following that rep range that seems to be pretty well prescribed for BFR, which is about 30 reps. Take about a 30-second break, then 15 reps, 30-second break, 15 reps, 30-second break, and then 15 reps. So again, it should be 30, 15, 15, 15, and again, about 30-second breaks in the middle. And that is, again, very well researched, or rep scheme that people use for whatever. And again, make sure you've got your pink dumbbells on this. So again, it shouldn't be taxing at all. There should be no real recovery component. Just trying to accumulate a lot of byproduct there of muscle contractions. And again, you don't have to vary hand position. That's just kind of how I like to do it. Nothing sciencey behind that or rocket science, just kind of personal preference. And again, you see I got those BFR straps. Ideally, you can do them below the delt as well too. I just think it makes a little bit more sense to keep them above the delt. And then again, I just did the round of it. You can watch the whole way through if you're really bored and have nothing else to do. But basically went 30 reps. Again, 5. First was just 15 each position, 10 each position. And then now I went to 15 reps here. And again, 5 in each position. And then repeated it all the way through. And again, when a quick pull day, and I put this one a little bit closer to my last pull day, which is I want to do now. I'm really trying to work on bringing my back up because your back can never be too big, and so really trying to keep the frequency up of my pull days. But sometimes my elbows, biceps take a little bit of a beating, so that's a really easy way. Instead of hitting biceps, I was debating doing just one exercise for biceps, but I decided to skip it, just do a little bit BFR, which again I think in and of itself can really help you hold on to tissue, but also tends to make my elbows, forearms, everything else feel pretty damn good afterwards. So that is it. Hope you guys enjoy this pull day. And again, this can be a great one if you're just trying to have a little bit more pull frequency, back frequency, and again, a little bit of a lower volume one, even for my relative low volume. So hope you guys are doing well, doing safe. Until the next one.